Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Another modification video for you. Now those of you that have followed the channel for a while have seen my old Starlink in some of the videos that I've published. I've had it, I actually got it off a friend about 2 years ago who used it on a caravan that was stationary. Went and visited a caravan, turned it on, turned it off, and just said, you know what, we got 4G, 5G now, we don't need it. So I bought it and I took that original, I think it was a Gen 2 Starlink when we did the Vuelta to Spain, which is 2 years ago. And it worked brilliantly. And the great thing about Starlink is you can turn on the service, turn it off when you need to. So I've traveled with that dish now for 2 years. Now there's a couple of reasons why I travel with it. So there's a couple of reasons why. So most of us have 25 gigabytes limit when we go to Europe, when we start roaming. It used to be unlimited, but because we left, there's restrictions. You know, 25 gig, you might think we're on holiday, 25 gigs, nothing. Well, I generally don't go away for just 2 weeks. So I'm up against that limit quite often. And part of that is because I'm either streaming radio into the car when I'm driving, listening to podcasts. I don't generally download them, sometimes I do. Or I've also got Google Maps on. And it begins to add up, especially if you're in the car for 6-7 hours when you're driving through Spain, down into Portugal, wherever you're going, it adds up over a period of time. So one reason why I have that is when I'm stationary and I want to watch something or I upload video content, that begins to chew into the 25 gig. So that's one reason why I've got my Starlink. So when I go set up, one of the first things I do when I sort of set up my camp is I go plug it in, and it was on 240 as well, just plug it into the onshore power and up it went. Now I converted my Starlink into 12 volt through a step-up transformer. And so I could actually run it when I was wild camping. So it was quite simple for me to do. I could plug everything into a separate Wi-Fi box that I had, and then I could have my Starlink working. I was getting anywhere from 150 to 250 megabits per second. Now Starlink does work underneath trees, but it has to have probably, if it's completely canopy covered, you won't get a signal. You generally need about 2/3 clear view of the sky. In most cases, what I do is if I'm at a campsite or I'm under shelter is I put the dish on the roof rack and then point it and orient it to north. Now the Gen 2 had a motor in it, had an actuator in it, which would auto lock on depending on your location, which was great because you could just set up, put it on the ground, roughly orient it north, northwest, and then it would jiggle itself, figure out where it needed to go, and you'll be up and running. So in most cases, it worked flawlessly, and it's an absolutely wonderful service. You can't knock it at all. Now, the downside to that is that the panel itself had an arm on it, which it would use for the motor to actuate it. And then you had a stand that you had to sit it on. I'll put a picture, if I've got one, of what it used to look like. They came out with a Gen 3, or what is known Gen 3/Gen 4, which has got a kickstand on it, which takes away the actuator and allows you to sort of position it. So in the app, you take the panel out, put the kickstand down, orient it, it tells you which way to go, drop it, and then it locks on. So what I've done is I've changed from the Gen 2 to the Gen 3. Now the Gen 3, apparently, if it's mounted to a vehicle flat on the roof, will work while in motion. And there are a lot of people that have gone from Gen 2 to Gen 3, put in the dish, put it on their roof rack, camper van, whatever it might be. And when they drive, they're basically getting upload, download speeds, which are faster than turning on their mobile service. Now, if you're in the States or in Australia clearly you won't have mobile service in most of the places you go, but let's take the States. It's far better for that because you're getting service pretty consistently wherever you go. In Europe, because of the 25 gig limit we have, it's a brilliant option because if you wanted to be able to stream everything off the dish to the satellites and bypass running, 3G, 4G, 5G, then it's a perfect solution for that. So I bought something called a trio mount, which allows you to take the original kickstand out and flat mount it onto this mount on the roof rack. It fits perfectly between the slats that I have in my roof rack. I just had to elongate 2 of the holes just to make sure I could get it to sit flush, but it's perfect. They're all 3D printed, quality excellent. I ordered it on a Saturday, it arrived on a Friday from the States. Brilliant. So my Gen 3 panel is now sitting on my roof rack. I've got it all connected up. The new Wi-Fi router that comes with it is far more powerful than the old one. The cable is totally different to the way it used to be. It's not a proprietary cable that goes from the dish to the modem like the old one used to be. So a lot of the gubbins that I had to buy and convert to get my old Gen 2 to work in 12 volt, gone. I actually sold my Gen 2 dish and all the 12 volt components on eBay, and I got my money back on upgrading to a Gen 3. So let's go around and I'll show you what this looks like. Right, those of you that have been following the channel for a while know that I've got a Redvision system from Redarc. My Starlink system is here. You can see, hopefully you can see that. That is all controlled off here. So the Starlink system doesn't come with a switch. It's not on and off. So that's why this is here. I can control this on and off as I need to. The cabling from here goes to a 12 volt step up power transformer, which is buried behind the back of here, that goes to 58 volts. And then that goes to a 2.1 millimeter 5.5 barrel connector, which goes to the Starlink Wi-Fi. And then out the back of here, you can probably see this cable. I need to do a better job of this. It runs up through here, out through here, and then we're onto the roof. Now up on the roof, all of the cable itself is underneath my spare tire. And you can see it's poking out here. And then I've just got some Velcro straps that keep it down. And then this is the panel on top. So the trio mount itself goes into, I've got these slats here on my Land Rover Passion roof rack. So to get the dish off, it's basically clicked in. So you push it this way and it clicks into the mount. To take it off, you need to get this lever in, click it, lift it, and off it comes. So it's quite easy to get off. And then because I've got these little Velcro straps, I can pull the dish off and then pull all of the cable out from under the spare tire. And then I can go and install it somewhere else or put it on the ground. So it's really flat in the fact that you can barely see it's up there. So if we go around here, you can't see it from the front. And because when I travel, this side I have my Max Tracks, and on the other side I have my roof box, which is a Pelly box, which is a low profile Pelly box. There is no way you can see that. Now from here, you could probably see there's something up on that roof. But in most cases, you're not going to know it's up there. Now I've driven this 70, 80 mile an hour. It doesn't move, it doesn't flap. So it's pretty solid when you get it hooked in. So that is my new Starlink Gen 3 dish. It's sitting on a trio mount. Installation for me, maybe 30 minutes. Just put the mount on, attach the dish. This was already drilled, so I had my rear trail light that was on here. This was already drilled to run the cable there. So if you want to put anything on your roof on an L322, this is the only place you can generally drill through. Inside of here, where the speaker is, it actually closes up. It's bonded together, it's two skinned. So what you can do is run a drill through here. It will pop out through the second piece, and then you can elongate it. So I've got a grommet in here, and this is Sikaflex to stop anything in here. And you can run the cable up underneath the strut. I don't have enough room to run the top of the Cat 5 cable through here. There's not enough space to run it up and then lift it. I'd have to take my spoiler off, and at this point can't be bothered to do it. But at some point what I'll do is I will take the spoiler off, and it will give me just about enough room to be able to run it through and bend it up. At the moment I can't do that. But I've got it all tied up. It's all zip tied together. It's all sheathed. This side, if you look at it, this runs my rear spotlight, same thing. That goes through here. And shout out to Max, he was the one that showed me where to drill into and how he ran his cables up there. So that's how it's wired up that way. And like I said, up underneath my spare tire, you can probably just about see it, is all the cable wrapped up. It's all, I've got Velcro that keeps that down. It doesn't move inside the spare tire. So should I need to get it out, pull it out, all of that will come out as well. And then I can find some place to put it down on the ground. But installation for me, probably about an hour. And then, like I said, you can see that. The only thing I did do, by the way, you might just be able to see this, is that I added a couple of those zip tie mounts just to keep the cable up off the roof. And it's a little bit neater installation up there. Anyway, that's the update for now. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video if you liked the video, subscribe, and with that, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.